We are giving a presentation on non-fungible tokens and what they can do beyond just being art on the wall. I'm very, very grateful to give this presentation to anyone who's taken the time to listen to it. It is, to me, something I'm very, very passionate about, something that I sincerely believe in long term. And I'm here with my boy Kucho. We've been in the space for quite some time. I've given this presentation at quite a few or at a big university recently at many different classes, and I think it'll be fun to share it with some of our wonderful friends. It's designed specifically to help individuals who really may have very, very little understanding of what a non-fungible token is. Maybe they know a few really big projects, but maybe they're not fully aware of all the capabilities that can come from this amazing technology. So Kucho, my man, how are you doing today on this glorious Wednesday?
I'm doing great, man. It's awesome to have you here. And yeah, let's share, like you said, like the NFT space can be very overwhelming. Both of us, we've been in the space for over a year now. But if we think back to when we first joined, it's crazy, right, to figure everything out. And it's very hard to find really good information that gets you onboarded in the NFT space. So seeing that this is missing, we feel like, that's value that we can provide to also onboard more people in the space and to share a little bit our some of the foundations as they relate to what NFTs are and why they are valuable. So thank you for doing this presentation, Button. Really appreciate you and your time. How about we jump into it?
Let's get it going, man. I'm excited for this. So, GM everyone. This presentation is called NFT More Than Digital Art. As I mentioned, I gave this at a university talk, and I'm grateful to give it to all of my friends. Now, let's start off with the term NFT. So, NFT stands for non-fungible token, and if you are familiar with that term, most likely you're familiar with it because of this individual right here. This is Mike Winkelmann, aka Beeple, one of the most famous digital artists, if not the most famous digital artist on planet Earth. And he's most famous for this specific piece, which is the first 5,000 days of him creating art. If you look in the top left corner, that is the very first piece of art that he ever created. And it was actually a picture that he drew of his uncle. And if you go all the way to the bottom right corner, that is the 5,000th piece of art. And this piece of art went to Christie's auctions, and it sold to an individual called Metacoven, who has an investment fund called Metaverse in Singapore, and he bought it for a record-breaking $69 million. It's quite an incredible video. If you Google it, you can see people's live reaction. And this very moment is when the world started saying, what the hell is a non-fungible token? Because it doesn't make any sense that someone would buy a JPEG, because essentially that's all it is. It's an image for $69 million. So my goal with this is explaining how that actually makes a little bit of sense. So let's start off by breaking down the term non-fungible token. And this was actually this was the official word of the year 2021. And the word of 2020, just for you, Kucho, it was actually lockdown. So we've made quite big leaps forward. So non-fungible token, a unique digital identifier that cannot be copied, substituted, or subdivided. Sounds kind of easy at that level, but let's go a little bit further. It's a chunk of digital data recorded on a blockchain that certifies authenticity and proves ownership for a specific digital asset and the specified rights relating to it, who it was created by, and who it currently belongs to. Now, I know I actually love that. I think it entails all the important details that are necessary to understand non-fungible token. But if I were to explain that to my grandma or even my mother for that sake, she would have no idea. So let's break down the different terms within NFT. Let's start off with fungible. Fungible means mutually interchangeable. So that the best example I can put is basically a bar of gold. If you have a bar of gold and I have a bar of gold and we want to exchange those bars of gold, no problem. I'm 2 thumbs up. We can do it. I don't care anything about it as long as it's the same amount of carats and the same amount of weight. We can do the same exact thing with a dollar. If you have a dollar and I have a dollar, I don't care about those little numbers on there. We can exchange those. Same goes with a dollar and 4 quarters. That is fungible. Non-fungible. Non-fungible means unique or non-interchangeable. So maybe this individual over in Germany, where my boy Cucho's at right now, has a really beautiful house. And I'm over here in Florida and I'm living at the beach house. Those houses are different in so many ways. Not only is the color different, the bedrooms, the layout, the paint, everything. There is no possible way that they could ever be the exact same house. Even if they were right next door, they're still in different locations. And so no matter what, they are non-fungible. You can't just trade a house for a house. But then we could also look at the same thing with art, because I'm sure that someone on planet Earth has a picture just like this on the refrigerator that they feel is worth $1 million freaking dollars. But the sad truth is, not many people do view it that much worth, but many do view this Vincent van Gogh piece being maybe even more valuable than millions of dollars. So those are not fungible. They're not interchangeable. They're very, very unique. So those are non-fungible. Now let's go into the token. And the token aspect is basically the identifier. This is where you can actually see who owns it, what happened with it. And Cucho, just for you, I took a snapshot of your wallet and I looked at some of the exact transactions that you did. So you can see on the left-hand side, it says transaction hash. That's basically like the receipt number, essentially, of what exactly happened. The age is when it occurred from one address to another address, whether it was in or out. The token ID, so that would be the non-fungible token number itself. And then what is the token itself? So we see that Cucho had a Steve Aoki that he sent out to other people. And if we clicked on the details, we could see how much they paid for it. We can see all those details of it. And we can see at the top, he also had something come in on 24 days ago. And so you can click on all the details, find everything about it. And that's the beautiful thing about the blockchain, is it's all fully transparent. So I often get this question. It's kind of a fun question for me. It's, what makes an NFT valuable? And the truth is, it's a free market. I mean, what makes anything valuable nowadays? But in more simple terms, like, let's just talk about it like real world items. So like a sports ticket or deed to a building, an NFT reflects the value of the thing that it represents. And so that's exactly how NFTs work, as far as the blockchain and what they are. And I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. So keeping on that path, we got to start with the art aspect. NFTs are digital. They have many features that most art does not have. One, it's digital art. So this is one of my favorite pieces. I know Kucho loves this piece too. It's made by one of our favorite artists called Fuocious, and it's a digital art piece. So as you can see, it's actually moving. And this is something that my wife and I are very happy to display at our own home. There's multiple ways to display it, but it's digital art, something that prior to NFTs, the exchange of digital art was not possible. Now, when we're talking about dynamic art means that the art itself could change over time. So this is another favorite piece of mine. It's by an artist called David Pollitt out of Brooklyn, New York. And this specific piece, it changes based on the price of Bitcoin. So as you can see, he's wearing these glasses with the Bitcoin logo on them, and there's a crack on the left-hand side above his right hand. And that crack indicates that the price of Bitcoin is a little bit lower. And then his scarf has got those little hints of red. If the price continues to drop, the scarf goes more bright red, his glasses come off. And if the price goes up, the crack will be on the right side and the scarf will turn green. So that just pulls information off of the internet to see what the price of Bitcoin is, to choose what art to display at what time. I think it's fascinating technology. Last thing that's really special about NFTs with art is the royalty feature. So this is one of my favorite pieces of all time. It's by one of my favorite artists, Rafiq Andol. He's a clinical professor out of UCLA, and he has been utilizing artificial intelligence to create art. This specific piece is called Synthetic Dreams, and he partnered with Google to take millions of images all over the world to allow a quantum computer to synthesize ideas of what Earth would look like. And so all of the pieces, though they may look familiar, none of them are actual places on Earth. And the quantum computer just took all these images and put together these different images of what their idea of Earth would look like. Very, very thought-provoking idea. And every single time this piece, there's only 1,000 of them and they're all different. Every single time one of those pieces sells, a percentage of that transaction goes back to the artist, and that is called a royalty fee. And that is something that's very, very special to NFTs. It really helps give so much more power to the artists themselves. So that's the art aspect. But as I've mentioned prior, this is way beyond art. This is way beyond just displaying art. As I mentioned, you can display it on your wall. You can also display it in your own virtual room. So it goes way beyond the art aspect. And in this example right here, this room itself is an NFT. So I'm here to talk to you primarily about what other use cases we have for NFTs. So let's start it off by me broadly going over all the different categories. Cucho, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know, or I'll just keep going on with the show. But for the most part, we're going to go over 6 different categories. Music first, fashion. Cucho's a very fashionable guy. He's going to enjoy that one. Then we'll go over the metaverse, which is a highly utilized term that I am looking forward to kind of breaking it down and hopefully simplifying it for a lot of people. Then we'll go over the games that can be utilized with NFTs, membership, which is a great use for an NFT, a non-fungible token, and sport, which I'm very passionate about. So let's start off with music. This is my homie. Cucho already knows his name. His name is Blau. He's a famous DJ. He went to Washington University in St. Louis, a private school. Very, very talented DJ. He actually asked his economics professor if he thought he could make a career as a DJ, and his economics professor did a whole research plan on him based on the amount of tickets and the size of his performances, and said that I think that you can actually make it as a DJ. So what he did though is he said, but in order for you to succeed, it may be beneficial if you do something a little bit beyond what everyone's doing. So being an economics major for the DJ Blau, he started getting into cryptocurrencies, and he found that the Ethereum was fascinating, that you could build on it, and he fell in love with the idea of non-fungible tokens. So he created one. This is one of his most popular pieces. He created NFTs, and this specific piece is called Faces. And with these, this came out over a year ago at this point in time, and it's a whole entire song, and it basically plays an image very, very similar to this, and you can display it on your TV, you can display it on your computer. And what he did is he announced just a few months ago that every single person who owns this NFT in their wallet, they will have the ability to get a portion of the royalties placed into their wallet every time it's played. So in this example, I'll just do easy math for everyone. There's more versions of Faces than I'm saying, but just for easy math, let's say there's 100 of Faces NFTs. So if you have one of them in your wallet, because Blau said 100% of the royalty is going to those that own this NFT, you would get 1% of the royalty fees from this NFT. And so if you had 10 of them, you get 10% of them. And it's a very thought-provoking business model. So you fast forward, and he thinks he can build a business of it. And he's doing it right now. It's Royal, and it's a website. You guys can all check it out. It's royal.io. And it's allowing artists, both old and new, to be able to share some of the royalty revenue with those that believe in them the most. And it's a beautiful balance, because now the fans are incentivized to want to share their artists a little bit more, because now the more people that are listening to it, the more money they make. He actually successfully raised over $50 million, primarily from Peter Thiel's fund. And Peter Thiel is one of the first investors in Facebook, and he's also known for creating PayPal with Elon Musk. So this is big money with the big dogs coming out to play. This was his first drop. Cucho, I believe he owns one of these NFTs, but there's quite a few of them. But this one's a famous Grammy Grammy winner, Grammy nominated artist called Nas. And as you can see with this specific example, you're really not getting too much of a percentage of the royalty fees, but that's because this artist is already well known. And so it was a very good one to launch. But just imagine that you have the ability to get in on an artist that isn't known yet, but you're really believing it. Imagine that you could get on Post Malone before he does the song White Iverson, and you get to have ownership of that album. I mean, that could be a massive return on investment, and that is kind of what I'm looking forward to in the near future, is seeing new artists kind of launching themselves through the fans that are choosing to invest into the artist. So they've done quite a few. We'll see if they end up being the leader, but that's just one example of how music NFTs can put a dent in the music industry today, that we all subscribe and pay, $10 a month to stream music whenever we want. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out. Fashion is the next topic that I'm looking forward to talking about. One of the projects that recently happened was Coach did a incredible marketing campaign where they issued out free NFTs to anyone who is available to just go on their website and mint them. As you can imagine, because it's Coach, there was a huge, massive demand about it, and it got a ton of publicity. But the really, really interesting thing that came out of it is they later announced that in exchange for having these NFTs, you actually get to choose one of their most exclusive bags that you would actually get to own. So now we're starting to get into the realm where if you have an NFT, you get a physical item from it. And so my wife worked on that campaign, and I have to say that everyone was very happy with how it went, and it's just the beginning of seeing what is possible. Now we're looking at fashion. Fashion is a very exciting thing because you can have a digital NFT. This is the same artist that did the hand earlier that I show. His name's Fuocious. He did a collaboration with, now it's a big company called Artifact. And they have an NFT where it's a digital image of the shoe, but you actually get to have the real item, the real shoe. And furthermore, if you had the digital shoe, you could actually get that shoe to rock in the metaverse, and that's specifically for Decentraland. So now you're seeing that an NFT goes beyond just the physical item and the token itself, but the token can provide you with a digital wearable that you can walk around and interact with people in the metaverse, which I'm looking forward to talking about. But what's really exciting to me is is seeing what these larger corporations are doing to embrace this new technology. So I'm very, very confident that every single person who's witnessing this presentation right now is very familiar with the logo all the way on the left. That is Nike, and that is the umbrella company that has these other companies, which I'm sure many of you may be familiar with. The second one is Michael Jordan's brand called Jordan, and they've been making a dent not only in the basketball apparel, they're now almost like a luxury brand that's also looking into football and other sports like soccer and football in Europe. And so then we also got Converse, which is an old school brand, still going strong. Not so much of like an athletic brand, but definitely like something that people are like very proud to rock. And then on the right is the mysterious logo that many of you are probably not familiar with. And that logo is Artifact. And just in, I believe it was December, maybe November, there's an announcement that Nike acquired Artifact, the same company that made those shoes right there, and that NFT, they acquired them for an undisclosed amount of money. And they launched their very first NFT in line with Nike. And at the time, no one knew what was in this box. Everyone was very excited. What could it be? What is in this box? And later to find out, after doing all these exciting quests where you're working with your online community to solve puzzles, to open up the box, it was revealed that there's a digital shoe in there that will eventually allow you to get the physical version of the shoe. So I'm very, very excited about this acquisition. I'm very excited to see how it comes together, but it's still very, very early days, and we're just starting to see the beginning of something very, very special. But what I'm most excited about with fashion is how you can authenticate items. So this was a hat that was given at NFT NYC just last year. And the thing that's really cool about it is, as you can see in the bottom, it says secured by smart seal. And what that means is that there's an RFID tag right underneath the logo. And if you scan with your phone, and anyone can pull up their phone right now, and there's an RFID scanner on your phone. And if you just click that button and bring it close enough to that hat, it will tell you exactly who owns that hat, when it was minted, and what number edition it is. So you can see right here, it says, congratulations on receiving one of 1,000. This is hat number 4 of 1,000. The date is October 22nd, 2021, and it is owned by Q. And you can view it on the Polygon blockchain, similar to what I showed with Kucho's transactions that occurred. Amazing technology. Now you know it's real. So look at a little bit further. This is one of my favorite shows of all time. The show is called Antique Roadshow, and this is my favorite episode. And with this episode, this individual brings his watch. It's called a Daytona Rolex, and he asks, how much is this watch worth? And he brings all the documents. And in that moment, you can almost read the guy's lips. He's saying $400,000, and the guy almost faints. He's a veteran, and he had no idea. He bought it brand new when he was in the Army. He saved some money to get enough funds to buy it, and he just kept it in mint condition. And furthermore, he kept everything behind it. And when I look at this image of what's on the table and what's behind it, it's actually the things behind it that make that watch so valuable, because it shows every single transaction that ever came from that watch. It shows every time it got fixed. It shows exactly who made it, and it shows that it's in immaculate condition for being an original watch. It is very, very, very special to have all those things together. And if you didn't have those things behind it, it may be worth half of what it is today. But everything comes together to make that final price of an estimation of $400,000. So let's bring together the hat idea with the Rolex idea, and this is what you get. Today, we have so many different items that are considered luxury brands. And when we're considering luxury brand items, there's so many fake versions of them. This is a purse. Let's pretend it's a Louis Vuitton purse just to keep things simple. The thing about the blockchain is you can capture the moment from which it was sold to the customer at the Louis Vuitton store. And then if that individual who bought it there wants to sell it on the secondary market, you can actually capture that too. But what gets me really, really excited is that block does not have to be started at the point of B2C, where the customer is buying it from the business. It actually can be started at the point of manufacturing and production. And this is what gets me really excited, because now you can track it not only from all the transactions that occur, but you could actually track the gator farm specified to the specific gator, and then from there to this manufacturing plant, and so on and so on. Then it gets to the store, and then from the store to the individual, to that individual, to the next individual, and so on and so on and so on. Imagine that you have all of that on the blockchain with a RFID tag that keeps track of it. You're essentially doing so. You're keeping all of those receipts that the gentleman had with his Rolex on the blockchain that's immutable, that allows you to verify and authenticate the actual purse is the real fucking deal. Very, very excited about that, as you can probably tell based on my voice. Let's talk about the Metaverse. The Metaverse is a network of 3D virtual worlds focused on social connection. Now, many of you may be familiar with the movie called Ready Player One. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's actually a really good book as well that I highly recommend. The story goes, for those of you that aren't familiar, this individual, he's living in Cleveland, and he is not happy with his life. It's an overpopulated planet, and the best way that he can live his best life and even earn money is through the Oasis. And so he puts on the headset, he puts on a bodysuit, and he can go and transport himself to wherever he wants to work, to hang out with his friends that are located everywhere and anywhere around the world. And he goes through a whole journey to basically make a lot of money. I'm not going to tell too much about it in case you haven't seen it, but I highly recommend that you check it out. Now, unfortunately, we're very, very far away from the metaverse. What we are doing we are seeing steps forward, and NFTs play an essential role in these steps forward towards our ideal metaverse. The first company that we have to discuss is Meta, which is formerly known as Facebook. And they purchased a company called Oculus Rift from a very, very talented individual called Palmer Luckey, who now resides in Newport, California. And he sold his company after making these headsets and these little handsets. He sold it for just shy of $1 billion, making Lucky Palmer one of the most wealthiest tech companies as a kid. I'm telling you, this kid couldn't even drink a sip of booze, and he had almost $1 billion. So all of a sudden, this kid gets acquired by Mark Zuckerberg and says, I want to take what Facebook is to the next level. So that is what Meta is becoming, is you put on the headset and you get the opportunity to interact with your friends and do all sorts of things, play games or host meetings. And this is actually a picture of me and Cucho right there hanging out at the NFT HODL. We put on our headsets. He was in New York. I was in Florida. And we're hanging out and we're doing our thing. And it's actually pretty impressive. But as you can see, we're not there yet. I mean, I know Cucho's got some sexy legs. He does squats every other week. I don't see him in this image. There's no legs there. And I got some sexy legs too, but you can't see him. So hopefully we'll get there eventually. But for now, we just got to settle for what's available. And Meta is one option, but we also got a few others coming to town. We got Decentraland. Decentraland's pretty cool. It's on your computer. You run around using your keyboards. That's actually me on the left. Love moment, keeping it anon. And then that's another guy that was at an event. It's very cool. You can, every single piece of clothing is an NFT, and they do have their own currency. It's a 3D virtual world browser-based platform. Users may buy virtual plots of land, which are NFTs, in the platform, and the currency in which they utilize is called Mana, and it utilizes the Ethereum blockchain. So it's fun. I highly recommend you guys check it out whenever you get a chance. If you haven't, you can go to different art galleries. You can buy art. You can go meet up with friends. You can go gambling. It's an exciting space to be in. And some of the plots of lands are going for millions of dollars, depending on what's around them and what's built on top of them. Another layer to the metaverse that is taking us one step further is On Cyber. And On Cyber is to me, it's one of the best looking platforms that's available. You can actually put on the Oculus Rift headset and actually feel as though you're located there. It's the easiest way for artists and collectors to show their NFTs in fully immersive experiences for free. So as you can see in that image, you see those pieces of art. Those pieces of art are actual NFTs. You can walk up to them. If you click on them, you can see if they're for sale. And if you wanted to, you can buy them directly from their apartment. And the apartment itself is an NFT. So you can buy the On Cyber NFT if you're interested in doing so. I think that they have loot storage units as cheap as half an ETH. So that's approximately, as of today, like $700, $800, $900, somewhere around there. So it's something that's exciting, that there's a lot of more growth that's necessary to get it to where we want it to go, but we're on the right track, and non-fungible tokens enable us to do so. NFTs also help out by furthering the innovation of games. The funds earned by playing games can either be transferred into currency wallets or used to buy other in-game items. So think about everyone's got not everyone, but a lot of us have smartphones. And if you open up your smartphone, most likely you have some game on there. Imagine if the points that you get from playing that game actually be transferred for you to get that hard, cold cash. And that's what's starting to happen right now. This is one example, maybe one of the more famous ones. It's called Axie Infinity. You can play the game. You can breed the little creatures, and in doing so, you can sell the creatures. You can do so many different things with it. And in all honesty, this was really, really beneficial, specifically in the Philippines, when during the pandemic, they were in lockdown, and not too many tourists coming out to the Philippines, and a lot of the locals were dependent on the tourists. So a lot of the kids and a lot of the families came together to play the game, and in doing so, they were able to push through difficult times. I can't fully say that it's enough money that you would be able to make a solid living, but if you played it full time, you may be able to pull in maybe like $300 a month. So if you get your whole family in, and if times are really, really tough, it was an opportunity for them. And I'm grateful to see that NFTs have that ability to provide other sources of revenue for individuals. Another pretty impressive platform is called Sandbox. And Sandbox is another NFT game virtual world similar to Decentraland. In this game, you're actually playing games in it. So Decentraland, you kind of just enter and you're running around. In Sandbox, the people who own the land, they can design games within that land that you have to go and jump around and figure out what to solve. And in doing so, you could get rewarded with a non-fungible token or an actual financial reward, like a form of cryptocurrency. So Sandbox uses the cryptocurrency called Sand. So when you get that Sand, you can exchange it to buy NFTs or land in the Sandbox, or straight from there, you can exchange it for USDC. And then from USDC, you can put in your bank account and then you can go pay your rent. So yes, we are getting very, very close to seeing more people being able to make a living off of playing video games. This is what the map box looks like. As you can see, we have some of these larger companies that have actually bought plots of land. They can build whatever they want on those plots of land. They could charge fees. They can throw parties. It's your land, and they're limiting the total amount of land that will be possible to purchase. Therefore, since the supply is limited and the demand has continued to increase, the price of the lands continues to go up. Let's talk about memberships and NFTs. The membership becomes an asset to the token holder, which can later be sold, transferred, or leased to others on the secondary market. There's quite a few examples of this. Let's start off with one of the most famous NFT projects of all time. This one's called the CryptoPunks. Though the CryptoPunks don't necessarily have an exclusive club, well, first off, they're $167,000. So this is a very exclusive club to get inside. But they don't actually have like an organized club. It's more in a decentralized format where members of the CryptoPunk community, for example, at NFT NYC, they will be hosting their own private party. And in order to go to that party, you're going to have a CryptoPunk. So just think about the type of people that are going to be at that party with $167,000 price tag. Right now, I think you can get one for a little bit closer to 100, but still, it's very, very expensive. So there's two types of people that will be there. One, a very, very wealthy individual who just bought in to buying a JPEG that looks very, very simple for 6 figures. Or two, someone who's very, very early to the game. Oddly enough, all 10,000 CryptoPunks were originally gifted. They were free for anyone who was willing to mint them. And now they're historical contribution to the NFT space, and people are willing to pay a lot of money for them. Another, probably the most famous NFT project of all time, and the price has jumped quite significantly, but at the time of this presentation, it was $186,000, a Bored Ape Yacht Club. These are the bees, man. These are so freaking expensive. And the one in the middle bottom, that gold fur, that one's $1 million NFT. The reason why is because, in my opinion, there's multiple reasons why people think, but in the most simple term, it's supply demand. There's only 10,000 of them. People want them. It's the most exclusive club. They do the same type of thing as CryptoPunks. They're hosting an event called Ape Fest at NFT NYC. They have exclusive clothing. If you see someone rocking that clothing, it's equivalent to seeing someone rocking like a Supreme shirt or something like that. It's very high-end luxury streetwear at this point, and they are continuously building. And believe it or not, this freaking company that came out approximately a year ago, it's now worth billions of dollars. Like, holy crap. A company that started off drawing these JPEGs and selling them. Originally, they were $500 at mint, maybe even less. They are now selling that. Their company is now $1 billion. I think it's $4 billion total. And it's all from this technology. People might laugh at this, but there's a demand for it. And right now, if you had one, people won't let you sell it for less than what it's worth. Like there's people waiting for someone to slip up, and if they put it 10% below the floor, it's going to disappear instantaneously because there's such a demand for it. Simple economics, my friend. That's all it is. NFT membership. This one I think is very, very innovative. This individual is called Steve Aoki. He's one of the most famous global DJs in the world. He's at here. Here's a weird fact. He's actually the son of the founder of Benny. He created a passport NFT called Aoki Verse. And in order to get a passport, you had to buy some of these blue items, which are called credits, Aoki credits. And with those credits, you can buy different level passports. At level 3, these are the that you get. You get the opportunity to get more NFTs. You get the opportunity to go to some of his live performances, but you have to have 16 credits to get there. So now he's allowing people to collect his NFTs that provide with real world rewards. And so Kucho and I, we both have, I can't remember what level our passports are at, but we're getting free clothing. We're going to go to a free concert together in New York City. And Steve Aoki is dedicated to rewarding those that believe in him from the beginning. And so every single person who's a big believer in what Steve Aoki is doing, whether you're a fan of his music or you're just a big believer in taking this NFT space further, he is going to help reward you. The more you interact with the NFT, the more benefits you'll gain. You also get weird benefits too, including a subscription to Time Magazine, all through having a Steve Aoki, the famous DJ that throws cakes in people's faces, NFT. So check it out. I think it's fascinating. The last subject I want to talk about, well, there's a couple more, but the last main one is sports. Sports, everyone loves it. We're talking NFL. Everyone loves sports. Sports, there's a huge opportunity for athletes and organizations to make money. The big move that all sports saw was NBA created a digital platform called NBA Top Shot, where they sold these packs, and these are digital packs. They look just like that. And you can get one as cheap as $9.99. You don't know what's in the pack, but when you open it, it's this whole big exciting thing where they show you 3 upside down cards, and they're called moments. And you pick which one you want to flip over first, and it's very exciting. And ideally, you get the LeBron James number 23 edition of him doing that slam dunk in someone's face. And if you were lucky enough to get that, you may have found yourself it could be 100,000 to maybe even $1 million digital asset. But most likely, you probably just got some lame guy who's been warming up the bench for LeBron James for the last 5 years. But you never know. So people love this stuff. It's just like just view it as the digital version of baseball cards or trading cards. Exciting thing that just recently came out is that the NFL learned from the best. They learned from the NBA, and they're doing NFL all day, which is essentially the same type of thing with the moments, but for NFL athletes. I am fully convinced that we're going to see every single organization do some form of this in multiple ways. The other benefit of doing this is that not only does the organization make money on every single transaction, but the athletes themselves make money. So if a Mahomes quarterback moment sells on the secondary market, the royalty fee goes, yes, to the NFL, but it also gives a portion of that royalty fee back to Mahomes so he can buy a nice new home. Let's talk about sports. This one's super exciting to me, and I honestly think it's underrated. It's called fan-controlled football, and they've actually been going on for quite I think this is their second year now. It's basically an arena-style football league where they're taking the players that maybe were really good in high school, but maybe they were a little bit short, or maybe they just didn't have enough to get into college, or maybe they wanted to go make that cash money instead of going after a scholarship. And so they gave them this middle, like amateur level opportunity where they can join one of the teams. And if you want to participate in the sport as a viewer, it's very, very simple. All you got to do is get one of these NFTs. And the NFTs, for a lot of us, we got them for free. So going back to the Steve Aoki passport, if you had a Steve Aoki passport, you were able to mint one of these NFTs for free. Once you register on the website, you can open up the app, and it allows you to actually call the plays in real time as the game is going live. It happens every freaking Saturday. I'm at level 11 mofos. I'm really enjoying playing this game, and they give you extra points if the play is chosen. They give you extra points if you get a first down, and you get 1,000 points if the touchdown is made off of the play that you chose that was voted on. So I love playing the game, and I'm also hopeful because often in NFT space, you see participation is rewarded, and I'll go over that in a second. I'm also hopeful that those who have the NFT that chose to participate, that get to a specific level, when season 2 comes around, why wouldn't they reward those who participated more so than those who just watched the game or those who just had the NFT? This allows you to reward those who are a part of the community. I love it. I enjoy it every Saturday. Check it out. It's on NBC streaming. You can watch it on Twitch, or you can just download the FCF app and watch it live on there. Now, participation being rewarded. This is one of my favorite things. I just want to bring this up because this is a way for you to get involved. This is a way for you to start learning. This is called POAP. Stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol. It is an NFT. The definition is it is it's a cryptographic record. These badges are non-fungible tokens and open to a whole new world of possibilities. They're basically bookmarks of your life. So if you attend an event, whether it be a digital or a in real life event, you can be rewarded a POAP. So the story goes for me and my wife is we went to Bitcoin Miami last year, and this CryptoPunk, his name, the owner of this piece, is called G Money. He's actually quite famous at this point in time, and he never shows his face. He always, if he's taking a picture of himself in the real world, he'll always put that face over his actual face. And he said on Twitter, I am hosting a scavenger hunt, and if you collect all 3 of my POAPs, you will be rewarded. Little did we know what the reward would be, but we were like, you know what? Let's go do it. So we ran around. He said, okay, this is the location. We ran over there, and there would be a model. Here's one example of one wearing that shirt. And in her left hand, you can see she has a little badge. So once you say, hey, I'm here for G Money, do a little Twitter thing, she hands you that badge. Once you scan the QR code on that badge, you would receive a POAP. And there's 3 different POAPs from Bitcoin Miami from this individual called G Money. Time goes by. I'm like, what is the point of me running around? Oh, I do need to add, he also gave us some free smoothies, some free Greek French fries at this location. So he actually did reward you just for participating. So even if he just gave me that NFT without anything, I can't say that he didn't give me anything because he gave me some free food. And who doesn't love free food? So you get the free food, you get the POAP, but I'm like, it kind of got the vibe that there's going to be more. All of a sudden, there's an announcement from a very famous company that you may have heard of called Adidas. And they said that we're going to create an NFT, and it's going to be called Into the Metaverse. And as you could see, that last rotated one said G Money, and it had the image of G Money with the orange beanie. And he was one of the top consultants for this project. And in doing so, he said that every single person who has the POAP would get an opportunity to be on the allow list or the whitelist. So let's break it down. There's 30,000 of these NFTs that are going to be created, and the early access was only available for those with a POAP or those with some other very expensive non-fungible tokens, including the Bored Ape Yacht Club and Mutant Ape Yacht Club, which, as I mentioned previously, is more. It's $150,000, $200,000 at this point, and up to $1 million. 20,000 of these early access tokens were going to be available, leaving only 10,000 available for the public. And you can have a maximum of 2 per wallet. So here I am. My wife has her POAPs in her wallet. I have my POAPs in my wallet. I actually had a doctor's appointment that day. I was literally in the doctor's office, and I said, you cannot jab me right now. I need to go mint my goddamn NFT. So she said, all right, you have a few minutes. Luckily, it only took a few minutes. I was able to mint them for approximately $524 at the time. But I knew that the demand was so high that the price was inevitably going to go up. And so the benefit of having this NFT, it's a long-term project, but the first benefit is that you get those clothing items. So that tracksuit, the black hoodie, the orange beanie. And so I minted the maximum amount because I saw that globally, my friends were very excited about it. And within seconds, the public access NFT was gone. Everyone grabbed them as fast as they possibly could. On the secondary market, this fluctuates with times, but I've seen it as around 2,891. I've seen even more than that. And right around now, I mean, it hasn't even got close to $524. So this is how you can reward people by having participation in utilizing NFTs. I mean, I was literally doing it in real world scavenger hunt, and all of a sudden I'm able to get some freaking Adidas clothes and an NFT that is trading for a great return. I mean, in the real world, like real investments, where do you see $500 become $2,891? 4 times. It's like pretty fucking amazing. Who wouldn't sign up for that deal? So to conclude this, I just want to conclude with a couple words. So the word that we always say is wag me, and that means we are going to make it. And I want to emphasize that it's not IAG me or YAG me. It's not I'm going to make it or you are going to make it. It's we are going to make it. So our whole goal is to work together to ensure that we all win. And so Kucho and I have been creating this HODL Discord, which we would be more than happy to have you all part of it, build this community, and just we want to help you all push through and win together, because we really believe the best chance for us to win is if we all put our brains together and do our research, do our homework, and learn together to set us up for success. So there you go, Kucho. That's the whole presentation that I put together for you, my man. I hope that you learned something. Did you like it? You like how I pulled your wallet for you too? I thought it was fun.
No, I thought it was perfect. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, I think this is a perfect video to introduce people to NFTs. So if this is the first time you've heard about NFTs now, and you feel like, oh, now you have a little bit of better understanding of what it is and you're curious to learn more, definitely join our Discord server. It's called the HODL. It's pinned below in the about section of the video.
Yep.
So go jump in there to learn more. Button and I, we are both in there interacting with the whole community, and
Yep.
I'm telling you, you will be really positively surprised by how you will be welcomed in that community. So highly
Absolutely.
encourage you that to do. Also in our community, a lot of people are already deeper in the NFT space. So if you're one of those, but maybe you want to get some of your friends involved because you've learned the amazing opportunities that this space has to offer, I highly recommend you forward this video to them. That's what I'm going to do. I think this was a perfect introduction to what NFTs are, what some of the use cases are, and why are they valuable. So I'm definitely going to forward this to a lot of my friends and family member that have been asking me those things. And I think, this video, Button, you delivered some great answers to these questions that are on a lot of people's minds. So really appreciate you. Yeah, I think this was perfect. Do you have any closing words for anyone listening to this?
No, I'm grateful that you enjoyed it. I put it together, and the last things, even if you don't like, let's say you don't have a Discord, like you're not signed up with them, and maybe the community's not for you. Cujo and I are available to help you anywhere, anytime. We are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, we are on the phone. Well, I'm not gonna give you my phone number, but maybe I will one day. So come seek us out, find us. We are here to help you. You can message right here on YouTube. We want to help you win, because the more people that can be educated about the space, the better it is for everyone. So we're here for you. There is no such thing as a dumb question. We got your back 100%. And we'll continue to make videos to help you along your Web3 journey. That's all I got to say, my man. But I enjoyed it. It's been fun.
Perfect. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in.